Okay, we're gonna start. I hope it's not wobbly for these people, or we'll be watching like their neck kink to the side. That'll be fun. Okay, so my name is Ashley. If you came to my first presentation, we talked about the 7 spiritual keys to healing from heartbreak in my book, kind of. We also talked about a lot of different things that weren't on the outline agenda, which is generally what happens when I speak. So, but we're going to talk about key number 6 and 7 in this class. Okay, so key number 6 is to, let me just flip it back to what we talked about last time so I don't have to rewrite. Key number 6 is about realizing your divine purpose, and key number 7 is about creating your dreams. So this is how we reignite our passion and rediscover our purpose. We're going to figure out what that divine purpose is, and then we're going to go forward with passion to create that dream into reality. So this is my favorite topic to discuss. Like, it's my favorite thing to teach about. It's my favorite thing to live and breathe in my life, and I have some cool tools for you guys that I know are going to work to help you to create some more enthusiasm and energy and passion in your life. Who could use that? Okay, I am pretty passionate about life, and I still would love more passion. Like, it's just, and I'm talking about the passion as defined in Webster's dictionary, not the Bible. Has anyone ever looked up passion in the Bible? I'm the only one. So I looked up passion in the Bible a couple weeks ago. I was in the temple, and I was like, what should I read about? You know, I have like 2 seconds while you're waiting, you know, and you never know how long you're going to have. So I was like, I'll just look something fast. I looked up passion, and it says anger and wrath. And I was like, whoa, like that's not the passion I teach about, you know, and I was like, should I rename my course, you know, because, well, you guys don't know me, so I guess I should have done a better introduction, but I have a course I teach, it's called Passion Quest, Creating Your Dreams with Passion and Play, and so I was rethinking my entire branding because I was like, I don't want to be teaching people about wrath and anger, so just to be clear, that is not the passion we are going to be talking about today. We're talking about another definition I read about passion, which I really loved. And it said, your passion is something that you're willing to sacrifice for. It is something that you are almost uncontrollably fixated on. Almost uncontrollably. You can still control, yet it's something that takes a lot of your mind, your emotions, your time, your energy, your resources. That's a passion. And that's the kind of passion that I'm talking about today, not the Bible dictionary definition of passion. So we're not looking at anger and wrath. We are looking at enthusiasm and excitement, because how many of you, when you got divorced, all of a sudden it was a little more challenging to feel passionate about living your life? Yes. Okay. Yeah, we got an amen from the hallway. Yes. I don't know if he even knows that he was saying yes to that, but yeah, we do. When we get divorced, like, nobody's excited about a divorce. Like I was talking about in the last class, nobody gets married thinking, gee, I bet this will end badly. Probably I'll get a divorce. I am so excited for this journey. Like, nobody thinks that. We're all like, great, this is going to be awesome. I have most of us in this room probably thought, I have my eternal companion, happily ever after, here we go. And it didn't turn out that way, or we wouldn't be sitting here at the divorce conference. And that's heartbreaking. And it's challenging, and it's not fun. And I know that once that, wrecking ball comes through your life, it's really hard to be like, okay, it's fine, like I'm jumping up with passion and I'm ready to go. But I'm gonna challenge you guys to do that anyway. So one of the things I always teach my clients, so I'm a coach and a mentor, obviously, and a speaker and an author, and I work one-on-one with clients. And one of the things I teach them, the tools to get more passion, is I'm gonna do a little demonstration. So pretend that I'm laying down, but I want you to literally jump out of your bed like that. In the morning, I want you to jump out, and you're gonna say, I am passionate about having an amazing and abundant life. I am passionate about creating an epic life and helping my clients do the same. That's my personal one. So you guys come up with what works for you, but I want you to try it out just for a week and see how it works. I am passionate about ... Now, every single person's different in this room, so all of your passions are going to be different. So I'm not going to tell you what your phrase should be. That's just an example of what my phrase is. It's important to me to live with passion. It's important to me to be enthusiastic about this life that God gifted me. And sometimes it's challenging to be that way when you're going through a hard time. So especially when I'm going through a hard time or a challenge, that's when I do it the most. Because if you can jump out of bed with enthusiasm, and I learned that from Napoleon Hill, I didn't just like make that up myself. You may have heard of him. He's the author of Think and Grow Rich, very famous man for helping people understand what it is that creates their reality around them. He taught that you were the creator of your reality. He studied a bunch of wealthy people. He was not wealthy himself at the time, but he studied a bunch of very wealthy people, Rockefellers, all of the people in his time. This was like 1940s, so different era, but he studied all of the wealthy people that he could get an interview with and figured out what made them wealthy. And he figured out that it was their mindset and the way they viewed life and thought about life. That's what made them different than everybody else. So it's really critically important for us, as being the controller of our life, the co-creator with God, it's important for us to manage that mindset. And so that's why this is such a powerful tool, because you're getting out of bed, telling yourself and the spiritual universe, I believe in God, I believe in angels, I believe the spiritual universe is all around us at all times, and it responds to us and our energy as well. So when you get up and you declare what you want, and you are forceful about it, not in like a bad way forceful, but insistent, like this is what's going to happen in my life. I've had enough of whatever drama, whatever garbage, whatever heartbreak, whatever stuff is like weighing me down and trying to drag me backwards. I've had enough of that, and I want to go forward to create a different future. And you powerfully jump out of your bed and state that intention with clarity and enthusiasm. Then you're setting yourself on a course to get to a different location than when you get out of bed very sluggishly and start immediately thinking about how much your life is horrible and how much of a struggle it is and how there's bills and your ex is crazy and your kids and how do you take care of them on your own and what about the finances and all these things that are really very real for people in a divorce situation. I acknowledge them and I honor that that is a struggle. And I'm not saying you just go for it and smile all day and pretend everything's fine when it's not, because that doesn't work either. Yet, what I'm saying is get yourself to start the day off right, okay? So, who is willing to commit to at least trying for 3 days to do this? Excellent. Awesome. And I would love to have your guys' feedback on how that went for you. Because I've had many clients tell me that just that one little thing has helped them to turn so many things around in their life. It's a place to start. It's not going to solve all your problems, but it's a place to start. And the second part, if you guys are brave enough, the second part of what I do when I jump out of bed every morning, I jump out, I declare, I get that intention going. And even, when I was a health coach for 12 years, and I used to do health screenings really early in the morning. So these screenings would start at like 4 a.m. I am not a morning person. To this day, I try to get up early to meditate because it's the best hour for meditation, and it's still a struggle. Who hears me? Okay, I ask for a lot of interaction because I'm training your mind, just so you know. It's not just like I want to make you raise your hand. It keeps your attention, because otherwise you're going to lose your attention every 6 to 10 seconds, and you're not going to retain a lot. So this is for your benefit, the hand raise. So what I was saying, though, is... Come on in, guys. So, now I gotta remember what I was saying. Anyone have my train of thought?
The meditation.
Meditation, yeah. So early morning. So I didn't want to get up at 4 in the morning, yet I had to get up at 4 in the morning. And when I would do the jump out of bed and enthusiastically state what I wanted for the day, it did make even that 4 a.m. rising easier. And it helped me to get in a more positive mindset instead of, oh my gosh, I hate getting up at 4 a.m. I do not want to go do health screenings. I want to go back to bed. And I loved my job as a health coach. I loved helping people with their health too. But I didn't want to do it at that hour. So no matter what the situation or circumstance you get to wake up to is, if you can jump out of bed with enthusiasm, state your intention, then you start moving in that right direction. And the second part of that is to get your energy physically moving, because you are an energetic being. So who knows what your body's made out of?
Guts.
Mostly carbon.
Okay.
Like others.
Guts.
Atoms. This is all about reigniting your passion and living your purpose. Yep. So, atoms. Your body is made out of atoms. And what are the components of atoms?
Protons, neutrons, electrons.
Bingo. Okay, so we have this body that is made up out of atoms, with protons, neutrons, and electrons. And that is energy. So this protons, neutrons, and electrons this means that your body is 99.999% energy. That's why it's critical to control your energy. That's why it's critical to start your day with enthusiasm. Get your passion to have a little kickstart, a kick in the butt, get you going, get you excited about your day, no matter what you get to face that day. It's going to get you started out. And so you get that going, and then you start moving your energy. So how I choose to move my energy and recommend doing this, I get up and I dance. I love to salsa dance, so for me it's really fun to dance. I know a lot of my clients don't like to dance, but they still get a benefit out of it. Yeah, she's dancing. Because like I'm a salsa dancer, so I get up and I do my salsa dance for 3 to 5 minutes. I play a song, da, da, da. And if I'm in a big hurry, I'm like curling my hair while I'm doing it. But it doesn't matter, I'm still doing it to shift my energy, because you actually get that energy physically moving through your body, which is made up mostly of that energy. So you don't want that energy to be stagnant and heavy. This 0.1% is going to be matter. And I realize, yes, there's an extra zero, but whatever. It's a minuscule amount that's actually matter. But that being said, the more you focus on heavy emotions, like low vibrational emotions, the more your body feels heavy and becomes more matter, and you get more lethargic, and you have more struggles with depression, anxiety, sickness, disease, all sorts of disease. The dis-ease in your body comes when you are in that lower vibration. So if you can raise out of that lower vibration, your health's going to improve all around. So when I was doing health screenings for over a decade, thousands of screenings, I noticed a trend. When I asked people, when I was taking their blood pressure, I would, because I would do their health screenings and give them a little health coaching. And I would take their blood pressure and I'd say, okay, what makes you happy? Where do you want to go on vacation? How many of you can answer that question? Good. You guys are doing well. So the majority of people couldn't answer the question. Especially when I was doing screenings in places like factories or 24-hour, kind of a lower paying, more grueling work. Those people, they had a harder time envisioning their goals and dreams. It was a completely different mindset than if I was at like an architecture firm where people loved their job and they all just came off a vacation and were planning one. Their health, their numbers were so different. They knew they had an answer for me when I just asked a simple question, where do you want to go on vacation, so that I could get them to think about that vacation to lower their blood pressure. That was my intention. But so many people were like, I don't know. Well, it'd be nice to go to Hawaii, but I'm never going to make it there. And they probably won't, because that's their belief system, and we create what we believe. And unfortunately, like, I love those people, and I want to help those people. So in my health coaching, I try to like slide some energy coaching in there, but working for somebody else, you can't always teach about your personal knowledge and beliefs that are different than the conventional belief system. The conventional belief system is go get a prescription, and that drug will fix that. It doesn't fix that. So anyway, that's a whole other note I won't even get on, another passion of mine. But what I want you to understand is that you are literally made out of energy. Science proves it. It's not just a nice theory, like it's fact. You're made out of energy. And what modern science, quantum physics, has shown is that these electrons, it's not like that science project that you made with a styrofoam ball and then there's a toothpick and there's an electron here and it stays there. That electron actually moves and shows up differently based on the observer. It's called the observer effect. Very creative name, right? So the observer changes the location of the electron, which changes the makeup of that molecule, which changes everything. So your attention shapes your world. That's if you've ever heard the phrase, where your attention goes, energy flows. So true. Like, it's literally happening, and we don't have time to get into all of the science and in-depth information, but does this make sense? Does everyone understand what I was explaining there? Okay, don't get it? Please give me a nod, wink, whatever. Okay, so it's important. So I suggest jumping out of bed, declaring that you love your life, or declaring that you're passionate about something, or whatever you want to create your intention, and then do your dance. And whether you hate dancing or whether you love dancing, it's going to make you smile, because you're going to be either enjoying it or laughing, like, what am I doing? She is so crazy. Like, but you're going to laugh because you're like, this is ridiculous, you know? And so either way, you're going to get in a higher vibration. That laughter is going to help you boost your mood. It's going to help you move your physical energy, and the intention is going to send your thoughts where you want them. Okay? So, I will leave that for a minute. So those are the first two tips I have for helping you to increase your passion. Jump out of bed, declare, and dance. And then the third tip that I would suggest is another thing I find when I'm working with people. I do passion quest coaching, so I ask a lot of people about their passions. And I'm like, what is your passion or your goal or your dream? And if you don't have a list, or even like a mental list, like it doesn't have to be physical, but if you don't know, which is a common answer when people get out of divorce, maybe you've been married for like 20 years and you gave your life to your husband and your kids, or your wife and your kids, and now you're like, I don't really remember when I was 21, before I got married, I had dreams, hopes, and goals. But for the last however long, I've just been doing everything I needed to do to take care of the things I felt like I needed to take care of and what I was supposed to do. And they've lost sight of who they are and what their passions are. So if that rings true for you, the first step I suggest is making a list of 10 things that you are interested in. So maybe you can't like quite say, yeah, I'm passionate about that. But if, like for me, I've always been fascinated with glass art. I love it. So I went to Venice, I've seen glass art, I learned how to blow glass, I got a torch, I got a kiln, and I learned how to be a glass maker, which is really fun and cool and therapeutic for me. And it was something I first thought I couldn't do, though. It's an expensive hobby. It is. so it's not something you can just cheaply get into. But that was something that helped me with my healing, was finding out what it was that I was interested in, and then researching a little more into that interest and trying it out, taking a class, seeing if you can find something that's more engaging to your mind. Because what happens on a scientific level, again, is your body can only live in one state at a time. That state could either be you can live in stress, or you can live in creation mode. You can't live in both. It's like faith and fear can't exist in the same place. When you're in stress mode and frustration problem mode, dealing with stress, your brain acts very incoherently. Who's ever noticed that when you are stressed about a crisis or something in your life, it's really hard to think about simple things? Okay, because your brain actually no longer works as one. It is literally firing in different directions all at once. You're in that fight or flight mode. You're just trying to survive, and your brain is not in what's called coherence. So it's not moving all in one direction. So instead of like your waves going along like this, all together now, you've got like this wave and that wave and these waves. And this is chaos. And this is what your brain looks like in stress mode. But when you're in creation mode, whether you're making glass art or dancing or doing whatever it is that you're passionate about, what happens? Have you ever done something where you enjoyed it so much that the whole day went by, or hours, and you're like, I've only been here 5 minutes, I swear. Like, 3 hours, what? So we can all relate to this, right? We've all had that experience. That's because your brain's now moving very coherently. And you're actually in the frontal cortex of your brain. This is your creation station. It's the analytical mind as well as the creative mind. So if you get into doing something you're passionate and excited about, and you lose track of your body, time, your environment, all of those things, then that's when you start to be able to recreate a new mind. So I'm not going to go too deep in science right now with you guys, but I just want you to understand that you actually shift your brain. When you're doing something you're passionate and excited about, you shift your brain. Okay, now we just had lunch, and some of you are like looking very sleepy. And this is great. No, it's okay. No, I'm just going to help you. So what we're going to do is, I just moved that for your benefit, because we're going to practice what I taught you guys. I don't think I'm in the screen anymore. We're going to practice what I taught you guys about your new morning routine. So this is simple. For anyone who came in late, what we're doing is we're bursting out of bed. So like we're jumping. We're not like crawling sluggishly out of bed, dreading getting up. We're going to like jump out of bed. Okay, so you guys all get to do this with me right now because some of you are falling asleep. So it's totally fine. Lunch happens. I get it. And if I wasn't up here presenting and like so hot and like sweating like crazy, I might be tempted to sleep too. So on the count of 3, everybody get ready. Put your stuff down.
You ready?
This is for your benefit, I swear. Got to get your minds engaged. And I'm not going to force you. You can opt out, but I highly suggest you participate. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Yes! Yay! I am passionate about creating an amazing and abundant life and helping my clients do the same. Okay. Good job, guys. I'm glad we could all wake up, get a little more enthusiasm, get our energy shifted so nobody is falling asleep anymore. Okay. So back to what we're talking about, those brain sciences. If you want to have more success in your life and creating what you want to have, then you've got to shift your brain. You've got to shift it into this creative mode in the frontal lobe, because that's going to help you rewire your neural networks in your brain to create a new experience. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? Okay. I would guess, I teach this a lot, so I'm going to guess one of these. I'm just going to leave this one so we can save some time on writing it all. This is the cycle of creation. This is how you create your life and your reality. Okay, so I'm just going to explain what it says here. So in the cycle of creation, starts with your thoughts. That's why I said jump out of bed and tell yourself a great thought. Now feel free to take pictures. Right now I'm not talking because I always get these really weird.
No, not you. Just
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so cycle of creation starts with your thoughts. Every single one of you, on average, every day has 50 to 70,000 thoughts. Okay, that's like the statistic from people that have been hooked up to EKG machines and things, and to see how many thoughts are being fired. Every time your brain fires a thought, what happens is called an action potential, and it's actually an electronic, it's like your action potential is an electronic stimulus, moves from one neuron to the next neuron. And it also sends a message out to that energetic environment around you. As I explained, you're made out of atoms, so is everything else on this planet. Everything is intelligences, and everything's made out of atoms, and therefore it all is made out of energy. And that is how you create your reality, is by interacting with that energy field around you. So if you want to create something different, you have to have a different energy that you're sending out to that environment. So you start with your thoughts and those action potentials. What you're sending out, that's the electronic part of your electromagnetic field around your body, which is what's creating your reality. I'm getting a little scientific on you, but I'll try to be simple with it. Here's you. Here is what's sometimes called in the spiritual world like your aura or your bioelectrical field or whatever it is you want to refer to. This is your electromagnetic field around your body, and it is what everyone senses and what everyone feels. And this is how you are creating the experiences that you're having in your life. So if you want to create something different, you've got to change that energy that's in that field. So you start out by monitoring your thoughts and changing your thoughts. And of course, there's all sorts of tools and techniques to do that. But that one I gave you is a good place to start. And then your thoughts lead to your emotions. And this emotion is energy in motion. So whatever emotion you send out is what you're going to attract back to your life too. So this is the electric part of your electromagnetic field of your thoughts, and the emotions are your magnetic part of what you're going to bring back. So whatever you are emoting to the world is what you create in your reality. That's how the cycle of creation works. So if you've got a lot of experiences right now in your life that are not going well, and you are thinking that those experiences are not ones you'd like to repeat, how many of you can relate to that? Okay, I want you to have a different experience. And this is how we have a different experience, is by breaking the cycle. So if you don't want to keep creating the same thing, change your thoughts, change your emotions, and as your emotions change, your actions, your behaviors, and your choices, which is what I call the ABCs, actions, behaviors, and choices, those will change. As you consciously make choices that are different. And that will give you new experiences, which creates new emotions, which goes back to new thoughts. And this goes around and around and around, and this is what creates your reality. And this is why it is important to be passionate about your life. Because passion is a high level vibration and energy that attracts those things to you. Anger, frustration, hurt, pain, all those things that are natural and normal to experience, especially in divorce or heartbreak, those are low vibrational emotions, and they will attract more of that. So the phrase like when it rains it pours, this is scientifically why. Because you're vibrating down here now, you're attracting all this stuff that vibrates down here that isn't so fun, and that's what you get in your life. And you're like, why does everything fall apart? I don't understand. And it's just because you didn't understand the cycle of creation, and you're unconsciously creating your reality, because for most people, 95% of your thoughts are subconscious and 5% of your thoughts are conscious. So what happens is your subconscious plays a broken record of the same thoughts today as it did yesterday and the day before, and it's going to play those same thoughts tomorrow unless you change them consciously. And this subconscious thoughts does the same thing. It still is an action potential that sends out that electrical message, and that brings back the experiences you're having in reality. Now I know that got really scientific really fast right after lunch. So does anybody have any questions about what I'm explaining here? Does it all make sense? Okay, this is critical. This is critical to your life. God gave you your free agency to create your life. He doesn't force us to do anything. He doesn't tell us, well, he does give us guidelines and tell us what we maybe would be in our best interest to do. He's not going to force that, though. You have the choice. You get to control your thoughts. You get to control your emotions. You get to control your actions, behaviors, and choices. And then those actions, behaviors, and choices have consequences or experiences that sometimes you don't get to control. But you get to control all of that up until then. And then you can interrupt this cycle by cutting off any of this, like, oh, yeah, that was a thought I didn't want, but I'm not going to dwell on the emotion that it created. Because when that action potential goes out through your brain, it goes to the hypothalamus, and in the hypothalamus, it then produces a hormone, a chemical called an emotion. So it's a process that just happens. So then you like notice, oh, I'm feeling sad. So you could change and say, I don't want to feel sad anymore, so I'm going to shift and I'm going to jump out of my bed and make myself laugh dancing, whatever. Or you can get out of bed the same way and have the same experience, being sad. So those are the tips I have for you on passion. And I don't know, what time is this supposed to end? I think right now, actually.
2.
2. Okay, 2. Good. So we have a little more time. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about rediscovering your purpose now. So these are the keys from the first course. If you guys are there, 7 keys might look familiar. Actually, no, that's different keys. Those are the keys to creation. Secrets to creating what you want. I will share those right now, actually. First key is clarity of intention. If you don't know what you want, you can't get it. So like I said, I ask a lot of people, what do they want? And they have no idea. Hard to get something you don't know what it is. So I suggest spending some time thinking about that. And then the second key to having effective creation is having committed and consistent daily action towards that goal. So that's the mental stuff we talked about. That's doing work to get the emotions under control, which there's a lot of things tools you can use for that. And that's just actually taking that inspired action that you receive. Those things that are scary, going ahead and doing them anyway. Okay, I didn't really even tell you guys at all much of my story, but half of you are in my first class, so I don't want to repeat. But I will tell you something about that, because it's my husband who just walked in the back over there. So, about inspired action. So I wrote my book and I started teaching courses and I didn't want to. I was scared. It wasn't on my agenda, but God kept telling me that I needed to do it, and I was like, no thanks, that's not my chore. And he's like, no, I really need you to share your story. I was like, it's an embarrassing story. I don't really want to tell it. And he was like, no, I really need you to. So this battle went on for like a year and a half. And finally I just started taking action on it. And what I wanted I'd healed from my divorce and I wanted a new relationship. I wanted to move forward and to have somebody else to spend my life with, and I started asking God if I could have that blessing. And I kept saying, okay, I'm doing all this stuff, and it's hard. Like, speaking is not easy for me. I've been doing it for 3 years now. I'm getting better at it. It's not easy. And it wasn't something, like, some people love to be in the limelight, and that is not me. So it wasn't like a goal or dream, like I want to be famous. Nope, I want to not have people stare at me. And that doesn't happen when you're in the front of a room. So I was like, can I please just like have this blessing? And he kept telling me over and over, you can have it when you've done what I've asked you to do. And I was like, I am. I'm trying so hard. Like, I'm teaching workshops, and at that point I was teaching a 2-day event on that, and I had that book, and that was like the first thing I did. And now I have other stuff, but I had those 2 things, and I felt like I've taken action and I've done what you've asked. Can I just get married and have things be how I planned and have my family and move on? And he kept saying, keep doing what I've asked you to do. And I was like, okay, fine. And so anyway, long story short, they asked me to teach my 7 Keys workshop in my singles ward last year, the day after Valentine's Day. It's a great time to teach in a singles ward about healing from heartbreak and being single, right? And at that event, my husband came to it, and he had actually met me twice before that, but he doesn't remember that. But he came up to me after the event and asked me some more questions about my coaching and my courses, and I invited him to another event I was hosting and speaking, and he came to that and then asked me to lunch after. So the moral of sharing that story is that I didn't want to do the things that God kept asking me to do. Like, one of them was speak at this ward. And I didn't want to because I was like, I don't want to speak at church and have them think I'm trying to sell them something, or that I'm trying to get, my business, and it's church and you're not supposed to do that there. But I kept getting inspired, go speak at church. I was like, I don't want to. And I asked the Relief Society president if I could, and she said no. And I asked her again if I could, and she said no. And I said, God, why do you keep telling me to ask? Like, they're telling me no, and I don't even want to do it. And it's like embarrassing every time I ask and they tell me no, and I don't even want to do it. But the moral of the story was, when I finally was asked to teach Family Home Evening, I met my husband there. So it literally was what God had said. When he said, when you go do what I've asked you to do, you'll meet him. And I just wanted to share that little story of hope, because I know sometimes when you're in this hard spot, it's hard to have hope. And when you feel prompted to take action that doesn't make sense to you, or that's challenging or difficult, you really don't want to do it. And so I just wanted to share my little story of overcoming my own stuff multiple times. Like, the first time it didn't work, she said no. I had to do it 3 times to actually get them to let me teach. And then I met my husband, and I was trying to teach Relief Society, so he wouldn't have been there. But because they didn't let me, I got to teach FHE.